guys, what up? Akasan here for another Japan Thursday. On my way home from doing a couple of errands. I had a meeting right now. Sponsorships, really good stuff going on. It's about 6 o'clock or so. Everybody's kind of letting out, headed home. All the kids are, doing the damn thing. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, actually. Anyways, so I had my regular video that I wanted to do today, and I still might drop it because it's getting kind of dated anyways, but there's another topic I thought I'd talk about because a couple of you guys have been really upset given the latest, and it's sad that I even have to say latest, but the latest killings and shootings of police brutality and such. And you guys have been just kind of been wondering, what is police brutality? What's police treatment like here in Japan? And I guess the short answer I can give you here, I really sound like unrested right now, right? The shortest answer I can give you is the police enforcement, it's not strong. There are a lot of police around, but they don't really do anything. And I'm not really the best person to ask about this, but I'm just giving you my take from my perspective of living here for 6 years, and I first came here about over 10 years ago. And I also want to reflect that this doesn't mean that I want to make sure that you know that this doesn't mean that Japan is better or worse. I mean, there's a mix between the two, basically. Some kid grabbed like a dead bird, dead animal or something like that. My arm is getting very tired here. So anyways, hold on, we gotta keep moving here. Let me think. So they're very noisy, right? All right. So anyways, police brutality, it's not, there isn't any idea of police brutality as far as I know. I'm sure a lot of cases go undocumented, but it's not the same. Police do carry guns. That was a myth I once had to, when I lost my passport one time and I went to a local police station, they asked me what did I think about police. I'm like, out here, and I'm like, oh, you guys are kind of soft because you guys don't carry guns. And they're like, no, we all have guns. And they showed us they showed me their guns, and I'm like, oh shit, can I hold it? But and they also had a jail and everything. But I guess just the mentality is just a little bit different because overall Japanese people are really docile. They don't get angry so often. You're gonna have extreme cases, and that happens. It happens from time after time, and it's just amazing to me. Like there isn't this idea that if you call the police, you're in trouble. Basically, I see like these drunk guys getting wasted every Friday or so, and they cause a disruption on the train. And like just a few weeks ago, I saw two guys fighting, like fisticuffs, and one dude was bleeding all over the place, and the police showed up, and it was just very passive. This really weird situation. Like they weren't even like restraining the guy. Essentially, just take one of those videos you see of like the white guys that are getting arrested in the States, America, and now they just let them roam around. Like I just saw one a few hours ago. This dude got tased. Damn, I just snorted. This dude got tased, and he just kept on going. The police couldn't restrain him. They didn't shoot him, by the way. They just let him go out. That's basically with the same deal out here. It's like they do this like WWE like bad touch thing, like dame, don't do it, like stop that. It's really interesting to me just how much and you see like these young kids late at night, they'll be driving around, circling buildings and stuff on loud ass motorcycles, and just screaming to their top of their lungs to the police, saying "Fuzakinai," which means like fuck you and fuck off, basically. And it's just crazy to me sometimes, like how soft. There's another word that a lot of my Japanese friends call police, called safety drivers. When there's a high-speed chase, they go really, really slow. You can lose them really fast. That scene you saw in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, 100% true. They, you can outrun them and it's no problem at all. So, you know, are there problems though? Yeah, definitely. Being a foreigner. Oh, okay, I thought it was okay. That kid said game over. Um, are there problems with police? Absolutely, a lot. You know, but it's not police harassment. Police will come to your house sometimes if they get called upon. If there's noise, if a party is too loud, police do come. But it's nothing. It's all soft. It's really, really all soft. The biggest thing out here, and I've heard this comparison a lot, is that foreigners are generally compared to if you're a foreigner out here, you're treated the same way a black person is treated in America. And I've heard this comparison many times, and in some sense I think I can understand why. I think I can understand, but at the same sense, being black and being a foreigner, I think there's a big difference, because you don't have to worry about a motherfucker putting a bullet through your fucking chest just for the wrong move. Out here, you can get detained and such for 28 days, no phone call, things like that. But, you know, this idea that I guess in some sense, you know, my coworker the other day, about a month ago, he was pulled over. He's Canadian, I believe. I think. Yeah, he's Canadian. He was pulled over by the cops just because he looked different. Like, the police told him, he was like, you just looked suspicious. And he was like, what the fuck does suspicious, like, because the guy who got pulled over, he was driving by and he saw the police and he just kind of looked at the car, and that was it. And so the police decided to pull him over. And when he asked him, why did you pull me over? He's like, oh, because you looked at us. And he got really upset because I guess his family was in the law enforcement, and he was just really, he was really surprised. And he came and he talked to me, and he was just like, and I told him, I just was like, dude, this is like black people 101 lifestyle, right? You just don't bring that attention to yourself. And he's just, I can't imagine being in that sort of life, being in that sort of world. And I was just like, that's what a lot of black people have to do every single day. And for me, sometimes I also just think it's an economical thing. Like, people in the more low poverty areas are just raised to know better, to not like piss off the police, or you try not to as much as possible. You know, living as a foreigner, in terms of dealing with police out here, if you do get stopped, you know, you just get carded, ask for ID. Sometimes they search your bag. It's happened to me a few times when I was in Hiroshima. The most infamous one that happened to me was the police. I was at the National, and I'll never forget this story because I was so like sad, not because of that incident, but I was in Hiroshima after the earthquake, the big earthquake, and I went to the National Peace Memorial Museum, and I went through that museum, and I was just so upset, so sad, and I was just like, you know, fuck this, fuck nukes and all that, right? And then on the way out, right after I left, I had a backpack on, and these two police officers came up to me and started asking me a bunch of questions in like really broken English, and I was just like, whatever, okay. And then they started asking me if I had fucking marijuana. At first they were like, oh, nice hair. And they're like, oh, marijuana, you have marijuana? And I was just like, are you fucking serious? I was just like, nah, dude, I ain't got shit. And he started, check, bag, check, okay? And I was just like, whatever, dude. But, like, you know, the whole bag check has happened to me many times, but I think at that moment in time, I was more upset because a bunch of tourists were walking by, and I was getting profiled this way in front of tourists, and it was making me look bad type of deal, you know? And then on top of that, I was like, okay, shit, so now these fucking foreigners looked like they were German or something, probably thinking all black people were bad because they didn't pull over anybody else until I left. Then they told a guy to get off of his bicycle, and they started checking everything. So it's frustrating, it's embarrassing about this profiling shit. And I've seen cases on TV where this doesn't go down well in Shibuya. Black guys, especially African dudes, getting told to not sit a certain area, and they get upset. So is there an easy solution to this? Nah. Does this go far beyond like foreign relations? I mean, there's a big problem with this. And you know, I guess something one of my professors told me when I first came out here, and what they try to teach you is just remember, like, you are an ambassador to another country, your own country, and whatever you're, just like being black. Well, what I was taught when growing up being black was, you know, you're not just representing yourself and your family, but you're representing your entire race and shit. So everything you do looks back on, reflects upon what other people do. And you know, that's why sometimes I get really annoyed with some of these YouTubers that are starting beef or doing these pranks, or just doing things that they don't really think about the effect this has on other people as a whole. You know, black YouTubers in general are starting fights at VidCon or whatever. It's like, it starts to just paint a really poor picture for all black people. And how should I wrap up here? And so the thing I was going to say in terms of, so it's almost the same thing. My professor used to tell me, being a foreigner out here is whatever you do, you are ambassador for your country, and you're not just speaking for you, you're speaking for foreigners as well, other foreigners. So whatever you do out here reflects upon what the future generations, and I always just try to be my best, and I try not to be fake or, you know, a different sort of attitude. But there are times where I do have to lighten my voice up a bit when I'm on the job, be a little less aggressive, I suppose, and a little less overbearing, because I already, you know, when people look at me, they already think I have this like wild sexual Orotsuki Doji tentacle demon type look that's gonna take all their women and make babies or whatever, right? So I try to be a little bit better about that, and you know, I think that I've done quite well with that, and I think that there will be a lot of Japanese women out there, or girls, that grow up to become Japanese women, and that will actually have quite a fondness for dreadlock brothers out here. So I think I'm doing good in that department, making it better for your generation growing up or coming out here. If you choose to live out here, they will always remember Akasan. But you know, we have just a few days ago, this one of my coworkers, freshly hired, fucking got fired because he might have some sort of addiction or problem, but he was no showing for work. He was coming late. Then when he went on break, he would come back from break late, and that shit is just such a no-no with our clients and our customers. You know, very expensive customers coming in, paying for these lessons. They don't care about your schedule, they care about their own. So, but it's these sort of things that give a bad perception of foreigners overall. And I've had this problem so many times in the last 6 years I've been here, of being, you know, black people growing up, we're taught that we need to be twice as good as the white man, because we're only going to get half the chance as the white man. So it's similar to that, being a foreigner, just coming out here, we need to be twice as good or better and better behavior because we're only going to get those few shots. And it's I remember telling the story to Unrested about this guy that got fired and a few other people, and it's just so, people were so pissed off because those that work really hard out here to get these jobs, to get this visa, to live out here, you know, doing that kind of stuff, maybe he has a problem or something, but being that kind of person just spits in the face of all other foreigners being out here. After the big earthquake of 3/11, there were a bunch of foreigners that left, and Japan started calling them flyaway gaijin. Like, people just bounced straight up, left their apartments empty. I mean, left their apartments with furniture and everything, and it created a big problem. Disneyland didn't have enough foreigners to put on a Mickey Mouse suit or some shit like that, and they printed articles. And one of my friends, Chris, who has been here, at the time he was here for like 10 years already, he was just like, for all of you that flew away scared or went back to your country during the earthquake, you just set the relationships of gaijin working out here back by 10 years. Yoshinoya actually had little to no employees because a bunch of foreigners went back to Korea. So alright guys, I'm at my apartment and such, so that's all I wanted to tell you guys. Police brutality, it's not that, like, if you are aggressive, they will call you'll have like 20 something police surrounding you, but nobody ever handcuffs you in the public and sits you down or fucking puts the knee to your back and shit. Like, it's not existent. But at the same time, that all being said, we still need to be on our best behavior, and we still need to be good, okay? Alright guys, that is all. Like, share, subscribe on the way to 100K. I hope you enjoyed this informative video, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace. That definitely stands out, for sure. God, my stomach hurts now. I feel sick. Akasan. Akasan.